as I took note of the place, it cannot be far where he abides. What's to be thought of him? Does the rumor hold for true that he's so full of gold? Certain. Alcibiades reports that Phrygia and Timandra had gold of him. He likewise enriched poor, straggling soldiers with a great quantity. 'Tis said he gave unto his steward a mighty sum. Then his breaking of his has been but a try for his friends. Nothing else. You shall see him a plain in Athens again, and flourish with the highest. Therefore 'tis not amiss we tender our loves to him in this supposed distress of his. It will show honestly in us, and is very likely to load our purposes with what they travail for, if it be a just and true report that goes on his having. What have you now to present unto him? Nothing at this time but my visitation, only I will promise him an excellent peace. I must serve him so too. Tell him of an intent that's coming toward him. Good as the best, promising is the very air of the time. It opens the eyes of expectation. Performance is ever the duller for his act, and but in the plainer and simpler kind of people, the deed of saying is quite out of use. To promise is most courtly and fashionable. Performance is a kind of will or testament which argues a great sickness in his judgment that makes it. Excellent workman, thou canst not paint a man so bad as is thyself. I am thinking what I shall say I have provided for him. It must be a personating of himself, a satire against the softness of prosperity, with a discovery of the infinite flatteries that follow youth and opulency. Must thou needs stand for a villain in thine own work? Wilt thou whip thine own thoughts and other men? Do so. I have gold for thee. Nay, let's seek him. Then do we sin against our own estate, when we may profit meet and come too late. True, when the day serves, before black-cornered night, find what thou wantest by free and offered light. Come. I'll meet you at the turn. What a god's gold that he is worshipped in a baser temple, than where swine feed, 'tis thou that riggest the bark and ploughst the foam, settlest admired reverence in a slave. To thee be worship, and thy saints for aye be crowned with plagues that thee alone obey. Fit I meet them. Hail, worthy Timon, our late noble master. Have I once lived to see two honest men? Sir, having often of your open bounty tasted, hearing you have retired, your friends fallen off, whose thankless natures, oh abhorred spirits, not all the whips of heaven are large enough, what to you, whose star-like nobleness gave life and influence to their whole being, I am wrapped and cannot cover the monstrous bulk of this ingratitude with any size of words. Let it go naked. Men may see it the better. You that are honest, by being what you are, make them best seen and known. He and myself have travailed in the great shower of your gifts, and sweetly felt it. Aye, you are honest men. We are hither come to offer you our service. Most honest men, why, how shall I requite you? Can you eat roots and drink cold water? No. What we can do, we'll do to you service. You're honest men. You've heard that I have gold. I am sure you have. Speak truth, you're honest men. So it is said, my noble lord, but therefore come not my friend nor I. Good, honest men. Thou drawest a counterfeit. but in all Athens thou art indeed the best. Thou counterfeitest most lively. So, my lord. In so, sir, as I say, and for thy fiction, why thy verse swells with stuff so fine and smooth that thou art even natural in thine art. But for all this, my honest natured friends, I must needs say you have a little fault. Marry, 'tis not so monstrous in you, neither wish I you take much pains to mend. Beseech your honor to make it known to us. You'll take it ill. Most thankfully, my lord. Will you indeed? Doubt it not, worthy lord. There's never a one of you but trusts a knave that mightily deceives you. Do we, my lord? Aye. And you hear him cog, see him dissemble, know his gross patchery, love him, feed him, keep in your bosom, yet remain assured that he's a made-up villain. I know none such, my lord. Nor I. Look you, I love you well. I'll give you gold. Rid me these villains from your companies, hang them or stab them, drown them in a draught, confound them by some course, and come to me, I'll give you gold enough. Name them, my lord. Let's know them. You that way, and you this, but two in company, each man apart or single and alone, yet an arch-villain keeps him company. If where thou art, two villains shall not be, come not near him. If thou wouldst not reside, but where one villain is, then him abandon, hence pack, there's gold. You came for gold, you slaves. You have work for me, there's payment hence. You are an alchemist, make gold of that. Out, rascal dogs. It is vain that you would speak with Timon, for he is set so only to himself, that nothing but himself which looks like man is friendly with him. Bring us to his cave. It is our part and promise to the Athenians to speak with Timon. At all times alike, men are not still ashamed. 'Twas time and griefs that framed me thus, time with his fairer hand offering the fortunes of his former days. The former man may make him, bring us to him, and chance it is as it may. Here is his cave. Peace and content be here. Lord Timon, look out and speak to friends, the Athenians. By two of their most reverend senate get greet thee. Speak to them, noble Timon. Thou sun that comforts burn, speak and be hanged. For each true word a blister, and each false be as a cauterizing to the root of the tongue, consuming it with speaking. Worthy Timon, of none but such as you, and you of Timon, the senators of Athens greet thee, Timon. I thank them and would send them back the plague, could I but catch it for them. Oh, forget what we are sorry for ourselves in thee. The senators, with one consent of love, entreat thee back to Athens, who have thought on special dignities which vacant lie for thy best use and wearing. They confess toward thee forgetfulness too general gross, which now the public body, which doth seldom play the recanter, feeling in itself a lack of Timon's aid, hath sense withal of it own fall, restraining aid to Timon, and send forth us to make their sorrow render, together with a recompense more fruitful than their offence can weigh down by the dram. Aye, even such heaps and sums of love and wealth as shall to thee but blot out what wrongs were theirs, and write in thee the figures of their love, ever to read them thine. You witch me in it, surprise me to the very blink of tears. Lend me a fool's heart and a woman's eyes, and I'll beweep these comforts, worthy senators. Therefore, so please thee to return with us, and our Athens thine and ours, to take the captainship, that thou shalt be met with thanks, allowed with absolute power, and thy good name live with authority. So soon we shall drive back of Alcibiades the approaches wild, who like a boar too savage doth root up his country's peace, and shakes his threatening sword against the walls of Athens. Therefore, Timon, well, sir, I will, sir, thus: if Alcibiades kill my countrymen, let Alcibiades know this of Timon, that Timon cares not but if he sack fair Athens, and take our goodly aged men by their beards, giving our holy virgins to the stain of contumelious, beastly, mad-brained war. Then let him know and tell him Timon speaks it in pity of our aged and our youth. I cannot choose but tell him that I care not. And let him take it at worst. For the knives care not, while you have throats to answer. For myself there's not a whittle in the unruly camp, but I do prize it at my love before the reverendest throat in Athens. So I leave you to the protection of the prosperous gods, as thieves do keepers. Stay not, all's in vain. Why? I was writing my epitaph. It will be seen tomorrow my long sickness of health and living now begins to mend, and nothing brings me all things. Go, live still. Be Alcibiades your plague, you his, and last so long enough. We speak in vain, but yet I love my country, and am not one that rejoices in common wrack, as common bruit doth put it. That's well spoke. Commend me to my loving countrymen. These words become your lips as they pass through them, and enter in our ears like great triumphers in their applauding gates. Commend me to them, and tell them that, to ease them of their griefs, their fears of hostile strokes, their aches, losses, the pangs of love with other incident throes that nature's fragile vessel doth sustain in life's uncertain voyage, I will some kindness do them. I'll teach them to prevent wild Alcibiades' wrath. I like this word, he will return again. I have a tree which grows here in my close, that mine own use invites me to cut down, and shortly must I fell it. Tell my friends, tell Athens in the sequence of degree, from high to low throughout, that whoso please to stop affliction, let him take his haste. Come hither ere my tree hath felt the axe, and hang himself. I pray you, do my greeting. Trouble him no further. Thus you shall find him. Come not to me again, but say to Athens, Timon hath made his everlasting mansion upon the beached verge of the sea-salt flood, who once a day with his embossed froth the turbulent surge shall cover. Thither come, and let my gravestone be your oracle, lips that for words go by in language end. What is amiss, plague and infection mend? Graves only by men's works, and death their gain. Sun, hide thy beams, Timon hath done his reign. His discontents are unremovably coupled to nature. Our hope in him is dead. Let us return and strain what other means is left unto us in our dear peril. It requires swift foot. Thou hast painfully discovered as fires as full as thy report. I have spoke the least besides his expedition promises present approach. We stand much hazard if they bring not Timon. I met a courtier, one mine ancient friend, whom, though in general part we were opposed, yet our old love make a particular for us, and made us speak like friends. This man was riding from Alcibiades to Timon's cave, with letters of entreaty which imported his fellowship of the cause against your city, and part for his sake moved. Here comes our brothers. No talk of Timon, nothing except of him expect. The enemy's drum is heard, and fearful scouring doth choke the air with dust. In and prepare. Ours is the fall I fear, our foes the snare. By all description, this should be the place. Who's here? Speak, ho! No answer! What is this? Timon is dead, who hath outstretched his span. Some beast read this, there does not live a man. Dead sure, and this his grave. What's on this tomb? I cannot read the character. I'll take with wax our captain hath in every figure skill, an aged interpreter, though young in days. Before proud Athens he set down by this, whose fall the mark of his ambition is. Sound to this coward and lascivious town our terrible approach. Till now you have gone on and filled the time with our licentious measure, making your wheels the scope of justice. Till now myself in such a slept within the shadow of your power he have wandered, and our traversed arms and breathed our sufferance vainly. Now the time is flush when crouching marrow in the bearer strong cries of itself, no more. Now breathless wrong shall sit and pant in your great chairs of ease, and pursy insolence shall break his wind with fear and horrid flight. Noble and young, when thy first griefs were but a mere conceit, ere thou hadst power or we had cause of fear, we sent to thee to give thy rage's balm, to wipe out our ingratitude with loves above their quantity. So did we woo transformed Timon to our city's love, by humble message and by promised means. We were not all unkind, nor all deserve the common stroke of war. These walls of ours were not erected by their hands from whom you have received your grief, nor are they such that these great towers, trophies, and schools should fall for private faults in them. Nor are they living, who were the motives that you first went out. Shame that they wanted cunning, and excess hath broke their hearts. March, noble lord, into our city with thy banner spread. By decimation and a tithe, the death of thy revengers hunger for that food which nature loathes. Take thou the destined tenth, and by the hazard of the spotted die, let die the spotted. All have not offended, for those that were, it is not square to take on those that are revenge. Crimes like lands are not inherited. Then, dear countrymen, bring in thy ranks, but leave without thy rage. Spare thy Athenian cradle and those kin which in the bluster of thy wrath must fall with those that have offended. Like a shepherd approach the fold and call the infected forth, but kill not altogether. What thou wilt thou rather far shalt enforce it with thy smile, than hew to it with thy sword. Set but thy foot against our rampart gates, and they shall ope, so thou wilt send thy gentle heart before to say thou'lt enter friendly. Throw thy glove for any token of thine honouress, that thou wilt use the wars as thy redress, and not as our confusion. All thy powers shall make their harbour in our town, till we have sealed thy full desire. Then there's my glove, descend and open your uncharted ports, those enemies of Timon's and mine own, whom you with yourselves shall set out for reproof fall and no more, and to atone your fears with more noble meaning. Not a man shall pass this quarter or offend the stream of regular justice in your city's bounds, but shall be remedied to your public laws and heaviest answer. 'Tis most nobly spoken. Descend and keep your words. My noble general, Timon is dead, entombed upon the very hem of the sea, and on his gravestone this in sculpture, which with wax I brought away, those soft impression interprets for my poor ignorance. Here lies a wretched corse, of wretched soul bereft, seek not my name. A plague consume you, wicked caitiffs left. Here lie I, Timon, who alive or living men did hate, pass by and curse thy field, but pass and stay not here thy gate. These well express in thee thy later spirits, though thou abhorrest in us our human grief, scornest our brains flow, and those are droplets which from nature fall, yet rich conceit taught thee to make vast Neptune weep for aye. On thy low grave, on faults forgiven, dead is noble Timon, and whose memory hereaftermore bring me into your city, and I will use the olive with my sword. Make war breed peace, make peace stead war, make each prescribe to other as each other's leech. Let our drums strike.